Welcome to the podcast. My name is Michelle Sinclair, and I am a divine healer. Today, we are going to talk about really that the spirit, the beautiful spirit of love is everywhere. There's nowhere that it's not. It's literally in everything. In everything. Is there a couch in front of you? It's in that. Is there a steering wheel in front of you? It's in that. There's nothing that it's not in, which is why things come into our life. They vibrate into our life at certain times when we're holding the right frequency, because every single thing is spirit. So let's say you found a song, a really, really beautiful song, and that song is just speaking to your soul. That song came to you from the spirit. And you know that song came to you at the right time, in the right place, at the right minute. What did you do? Did you go out there searching it, seeking it? Did somebody just text it to you? Did they send you the song? Did you happen to just hear it on the radio? Did it just pop up when you were looking through some videos? Things come to us when we need them and when they are meant to. Because every single thing is the spirit. You could look outside and you could go look at one of the trees that's out there. And being in divine alignment, you would know that tree, that every little tiny ounce of that tree is the spirit. And that every tiny ounce of that tree is connected to the spirit. Once you have connected with the spirit, then you realize there is nowhere that it is not. Now, this is also very helpful because it's not just in the material, it's not just in the things that are around us, but it is in every person. Have you guys seen that movie Avatar? And you know how everything's all interconnected and interwoven, and these things communicate on this deep level. This is real. This is really how it is. They are showing us. I've experienced this when I connected with the tree and I felt the love of the all that is, the spirit, flow through my body, and I understood. And it was from that moment forward that I could truly help people with their healing, because I understood this level on this love on such a deep level that I didn't know was possible, because I had only ever experienced human love before, which is completely infallible, and it's not perfect. Whereas the love of the divine, the spirit, is perfect. Perfect. And when you get into the right frequency of this divine love, the miraculous things can happen. And you'll think, what the heck? I was just talking about that. How did this come to me? It's because it's all the spirit. All these things that seem, coincidences. They are not. They never have been, not even for 1 second. So let me give you an example. So you're driving through a parking lot and you're like, oh, I need a parking spot. And you're in a hurry. And you're like, oh, I need a parking spot to open up. And you drive and you're like, oh, never mind, there's one right there. And so you negate the prayer that you just sent out, saying, oh, I don't need you because there's a spot that just opened up right here. But you do not know that even this was divinely orchestrated by the spirit, because you had a need and it was fulfilled. Now, the only time that wouldn't happen is if you said, oh, I need a spot, and then you continued, or you had an attitude of course I'm not going to be able to find one, or you started complaining, or you started criticizing, because what happens when this happens is you have tightened yourself up because you are resisting what you believe is going to be in front of you even before it is presented to you. And through that resistance, through that tightening up, the divine cannot flow and give you what it is that you want. Because you've put up the resistance, you have stopped the flow of the divine love. But even this is from the spirit, and even this is a gift, because it will allow you eventually to see the patterns of belief that you have held within you that have been detrimental to you and that have played out the same way again and again and again. And so these things that happen, there is nothing wrong with them. They are presenting to you your beliefs. And when you can recognize, hey, this is the third or fourth time, the same scenarios, happen, it's like I'm in a show that keeps playing the same episode over and over, then you can guaranteed and you can rest your beautiful head assured that you hold a belief within you that has caused this pattern to play out over and over, because our lives are not meant to be a repeat over and 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 over again. We're supposed to be progressing forward, moving onward and upward, expanding, creating new things, getting into a different frequency, into a different alignment, and attracting those new different things to us. But when you continue to think the same thoughts that you thought yesterday, then what's going to happen is the exact same thing that happened to you yesterday. And we can go on for 7 years like this, 8 years like that. We can go on for 27, for 98, 170 years like this, until we recognize that something needs to change. And then those patterns of belief that we have, once we change them, then the outcomes change and we experience something very different than what we had previously had within us. So all of these things are from the Spirit, and all of them are a divine blessing and a divine gift. So let me illumine you. If you have ever, let me see. No. We're not going to talk about that today. What I want you to know here today is that you are very precious to me, and that you are therefore very precious to the divine. Not because you're precious to me, but because you just are precious to the divine and very precious to me. But because you are so precious, if you could only but believe that, truly and deeply, 100%, you would treat yourself like you were precious. You would treat your body as a temple. You would treat your mind as this beautiful vessel for what it is, that you can use that free will, which is your mind, in your best interest. And if you could truly understand the laws of having faith in good and evil, then you would have only goodness and belief in the faith in the good. You would only have the faith in the good. And you would negate the belief that you had had in the evil previous, because you would see that it brought about evil in your life. Because you believed it, because you expected it, maybe you even spoke about it, maybe you talk about it. But what you are witness to in your life is your beliefs and only your beliefs. And so when these things change, then your life changes visibly on the outside as well. So I want you to think about this for a moment. A time in your life when you were feeling just amazing and awesome. So much joy, so much happiness, so much beautiful, wonderful, wonderful goodness in your life. And if you were to think about that, and you were to put yourself back there, if you were to meditate on that feeling, you would notice that it's a feeling, and that it's a vibration, and it makes you feel really, really good. And if you were to consciously harness this, which you can absolutely do, and you can also ask the divine for help with this, please, divine, I'm going to put in the work, and I would love for you to meet me halfway. I'm going to meditate on the joy that I've had in my life when it was at its peak. And as I do that, I'm going to learn something from it. And I would love it for you to be able to hold me in this space and remind me of it daily, so that I don't fall off track. And if you do that, what you're going to notice is that your energy, it will drastically shift. If you spend time sitting there in front of the TV and whatever the frequency that show is resonating at that time when you are watching it, you are at that same frequency. You cannot escape it. The energy's coming out, you're receiving it, and it's a feedback loop, and you're in it. So if it is something that is negative, or maybe there's some storyline that's just not a good positive thing that we don't want in the world, you are doing detrimental things to yourself and to the planet by allowing that in your frequency, because you are going to attract the same frequency as that into your own life. And pretty soon it will present itself at your front door, and you'll be thinking, why have I done this to myself? When you could change and you could hold that frequency, and you could take that time to meditate or do something that's actually positive in your life instead. And by doing that, you will elevate your frequency, and pretty soon you'll think, what? TV, I don't got time for that. I'm too busy enjoying and living my life and loving my life. And it will change things for you. Now, I'm not poo-pooing on anything and saying this or that or whatever, but I'm saying be aware of the frequency that you have in your body. Here's my example. Somebody comes up and they're like, oh, guess what? I got a new puppy and it's the cutest thing and he's so adorable and I'm so happy and it's so good. How does this make you feel? How does that interaction make you feel? It makes you feel freaking great, right? So good. And somebody comes up to you and they're like, well, I had a fight with somebody yesterday and it was not good. They did this to me and I think that they're so stupid and how could this happen? Notice the difference. Now you know people of both examples of those, don't you? And how much of your time, how much of your energy do you devote, do you give to those energies? Now if it's you yourself and you're the one that's the negative complainer, which I doubt, it's doubtful, but if you are, what is happening in that moment is you are creating more of the same. You are putting it out there, it's going out in a wave, and at some point, through electromagnetism, your thoughts are electric, and through magnetism, they're returned back to you. And so as they go out, and you put it out there, and there's extra force behind it if you're using your words as well, those things will come back to you. And then your tomorrow that you complained about things today, well, maybe you'll have something to complain about tomorrow too. And probably the day after that, not because you're complaining about the same thing, but because new things to complain about will come into your life. They will magnetize themselves to you because you are the core of all of it. So here's the good part about this, is all the goodness that you experience in your life is because of you, because you are the core of it. So you can create endless goodness for yourself just by holding the right frequency, by holding the divine alignment frequency. And what that divine alignment is pure love. It is pure love. There is nothing other than the love that is in it. So you could think of your enemies and you could love them and you could know that, oh, they have done something so good and wonderful for me. This is what happened today. I had a realization about somebody in my life, and I'm so thankful for the lies and the things that they are spreading around, because people who resonate with their same lie frequency will attract themselves to that person. And therefore they'll keep themselves far away from me, which is exactly what I want, because that's a dangerous person, and I don't want dangerous people in my life. Therefore, when something happens, let's say that there's an ending or some type of something that happens, be ever grateful and thankful, because the divine has got your back and is looking out for you in ways that you don't even know because you can't see it. Only good things happen to those who put out only the good. If your intent is good and healing and love and I only want good for the people, this is all that I want. I want people to be able to gain control of their lives and understand what it is that they're doing to themselves, so that they can stop and so that we can shift and create an evolution of peace and love on this planet. And when our intent is only goodness will be returned to us. So when something presents itself to you and you think, well, this isn't goodness, it's because you're not viewing it in the right perspective. And so your perspective needs to change. Because when you put out the good, only the good will come to you. So let's say that there's an ending and maybe you didn't want that ending. You don't know what that other person was saying or doing behind your back. You don't know what was going on. You don't know. But what you can know is if you're only putting out the good, then whatever it is that happened was for your best interest. Because the divine has truly 100% got your back. When you got the divine 100, it's got you 100. That's how it works. In every single thing that you experience, even the perceivable negative, is from the Spirit. It is all the goodness. Because there is nothing that is not the Spirit, and all of it works towards the light. It might take the darkness to get there. You might have to travel through the darkness. It might be a night trip, but you can arrive at day at some point. And you will be so thankful for the darkness, because you will have seen what you had to overcome and how much you grew and how much power and strength came from traveling through the darkness to the light. Maybe you feel lost at sometimes. Maybe you felt lost because it was so dark. But as long as you keep that light illuminated in your head, and you know and you expect and you trust that the divine is going to provide for you in every loving way, because you are doing everything that you can to cleanse everything away from your mind that is no longer helpful to you or to the planet or to other people, then the divine will rise to meet you. But really, it's you rising up to meet the divine. The divine doesn't need to go any higher than the divine already is. It's at the highest frequency, pure love. So just imagine this for a moment. I want you to imagine perfect motherly love and perfect fatherly love, and what that would be like. Just imagine it. You could just imagine. It doesn't matter what your parents were like. That has nothing to do with this. What would that be like? A father who's so sweet, who cares for you, who provides for every need that you have, protects you, keeps you safe. And a mother who loves you, who nurtures you, who holds you, who shows you compassion, teaches you. That love is nothing compared to the love of the divine. I mean, it's beautiful. It's a wonderful, wholesome thing. It makes you feel good even just thinking about it. But the love of the divine is even better, because we put limits on that. We put limits on how good a father can be. We put limits on how good a mother can be. And even our idea of how good they could possibly be, even if they were 100%, is not as good as the love of the divine. I've felt it flowing through my body, and no person could ever deliver that to another person until we all get into the era and the age of enlightenment. And this is the kind of love that we're dealing with. This is the kind of love that we're working with. And all you need to do is get rid of everything that is not that love. The hate, the revenge, the guilt, the grief, the sadness, the remorse, the malice, all the jealousy, the spite, all the things. And when we rid ourselves of that, all that's left is the love. And then we are in alignment with that love. And we've not only set ourselves free, but we set the people around us free too, because they will see the light and they will think, God, what is this? What is this? How's that person happy all the time? How are they able to do the things that they're able to do? And they will want to have that as well, because they will recognize it as the truth of where we all came from. So you will not just be a blessing to yourself. You will have blessed others by holding the light, by shining the light, by being the light, by being in divine alignment, holding that frequency, that highest frequency possible. This is what I have for you guys here today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I have a daily podcast. There's so many episodes here. Each of them are different, all teachings from my own enlightenment that I have gone through, which was really came from my study of the Christ letters several years ago, and my devotion to my spiritual practice. It's a wonderful thing. If you have not read the Christ letters, I would highly recommend it. If you like the content I have, you would like these letters. And you can listen to them for free on YouTube, or you can search them up for free online, totally free, the Christ letters. Anyways, I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, this is wonderful, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care.